In this video tutorial, I will show you 3 major databases that can be very handy. Of course, when we don't know much about a particular topic, we can go to Google and search for some information around this area. Now, with our search terms, I will enter them into Google database to see what kind of material it will give me. So, one of our search terms was training for educational leaders. But this will give us some general and, as Mr. Janssen described, popular sources. These sources are useful, but they are only useful to explore the area. They are not very good to cite in your papers. You can explore these resources to get an overview of the topic and learn a little bit and generate more search terms for future use. If you want to be more specific, you can go to a specific database so as to generate more reliable and scholarly sources. One such database is called ERIC. ERIC stands for Education Resource and Information Center. And it's a large database that stores millions of texts on education, various aspects of education. So if we just go to eric.ed.gov, we will be taken to a search engine that promises millions of texts for you. Here we can see there are 2 options. One is peer review only and full text available in ERIC. If you remember, Mr. Janssen talked about peer-reviewed articles. These articles go through a rigorous process of evaluation where scholars in the same field come together to discuss the credibility of a particular article and approve it for publication. If you use peer-reviewed works in your paper, then it means that you are on the safe ground. There's also the full text available on ERIC. This is open source. Open source means that anyone from anywhere can access these sources. For other sources, you have to pay to use. I will use our search term in this search engine. We can see that it gave us a lot of results. On this side, you can see direct link and download full text. Download full text means that it is open source. So you can download it direct on your computer and start reading. Whereas for the others, you will be taken to a link, but if you want to read the article, you will need to pay, or your institution needs to pay for that. We will come to what your institution provides to you later. So, if you click this button here, peer reviewed only, your search will be narrowed down to those works that have been reviewed rigorously by peers in a particular field. So let's apply it. You can see that some of the articles disappeared because they were not peer-reviewed. If we choose this full text available, because we know that we can't get access to the others, The search engine will further narrow our search results down to those works that are available to us. Let's apply that as well. So here we are, left with peer-reviewed works and full text available. So we can go to any of this and download them and read them and use them for our purpose. We can further filter our search by going to this applications on the left. One good thing to do is to choose the period you would like to search. Since 2007, since 2015, since 2016, and so on. If there's a particular journal or a book that you would like to search in, you can go to the source here. You can choose any of these journals and search for this particular topic in those journals. One of the journals is this, for example, Journal of Education and Training Studies. Here we can see that in this journal, these articles on training for educational leaders are available. We can just choose one of them and go and download it to read. So here's our article, Qualitative Analysis of Creative Potential of Educational Leaders. And the full article. Further down, we can see authors who have published on this particular topic. If you are after a particular author, you can choose that here and then search for that particular person. Further down, here we can see publication type. Remember that Mr. Johnson talked about different material types. And here, material types are called publication types. Here you can choose a material type depending on your need for information. Now that we are at an early stage of our research, we can go to reference materials to give us an overview. But later on, you can go to a particular publication type and read the works in that area. So let's go to reference material as Mr. Johnson described. Reference materials give us general information on a topic. So here we have one reference material. The author presents here the most comprehensive and applicable list of websites useful to both education leadership faculty and graduate students. This might be something that we are interested in, and we can go to it and read further and continue our research. For now, let's go back to the original site. The next is we have education level. Depending on what education level you're interested in for education management, you can choose one area to focus your research on. If you are interested in higher education, it is here at the top. If you're interested in preschool education, it's here in the middle, and individual grades and so on. Next, an important element in writing is the audience. A piece of writing has been written for whom? Depending on who you are and from what perspective you're looking for information, you can choose one of the roles here. So if you are a teacher searching for some information, you can go to 61 publications. Or if you're a student trying to learn something, you can go to this 9 publications. But don't treat this too strictly, because sometimes a publication intended for teachers can contain useful information for students or policymakers, or researchers just like yourselves. Well, that's Eric, an immense database for education specialists. The next database that we're going to explore is similar to Google. And actually, it's called Google. Namely, Google Scholar. Google Scholar contains resources for scholars, for academics, students, researchers. If you just go to scholar.google.com, you will be taken to a large database. And this database sometimes includes resources from other databases. It's kind of a meta-database, a database of databases. It's huge, immense. Here too, there are some functionalities that you can use. You can type in your general term here to start with. This is the easiest. But you can also go more specific and choose one of these areas, such as find articles with all the words, or with the exact phrase, or with at least one of the words, without the words, where my words occur. Namely, your word can also be inside the article. For now, I will not do it that detailed. I will just choose the easiest one. Training for educational leaders. Let's start our search here. 2,320,000 works. Here too, you can choose the time. If you want articles from 2000 to 2010, you can just choose it, and it will show you articles from 2000 to 2010. Okay, now I'll switch back to the original page. The good thing about this database is that you can find one good article and track it and find more articles and more works. So here we have an article, Technological Competence Training Educational Leaders. We can go to read this article, and if we find that it's something useful, we can also go to the sections here. Cited by 52 means that this article has been used by 52 other authors. And you can see those authors and the works who have cited. And here you can find additional resources for your research project. This second one here, related articles, gives you articles along the line of this topic. So let's check that as well. Providing technology leadership for restructured schools, training school administrators in computer use, technology education that school principals want, etc. There's also the function of the versions of a particular work. After a work is published, it can be updated, revised, and republished. And this shows the other versions of this publication. Maybe it appeared in another journal, or it appeared again, or maybe a translation of that work. Next, if you would like to use it and cite it, you can just go to this site and it shows us 5 citation styles. Depending on which citation style your institution uses, you can choose the citation and use it in your reference list. ADA University uses APA style, so you can go to this APA and copy it and paste it in your paper. But we'll talk more about citation, in-text citation, building your reference list in another lesson. You can also save this article for further use. So if you just click save, it will be saved for you if you would like to review it again next time. If you enter any Google feature under your account, which is mine here shown at the top, it will record your behavior on this website and will suggest you further results. It will also save your work, and it will also show which works you have viewed if you would like to view it again in the future. But be careful with this, because it can sometimes be tricky, as Mr. Johnson said. You can see that next to this article it says ADA University Library. This is a good feature of Google Scholar. It means that this article is available through ADA Library. You can follow the link and get the article. Here it is. It takes us to ADA Library, and we can just click on the article and we will be directly taken to that article to download and read. So here it is. If I would like to read this article, I can just go here and read it. If you would like to print this article, you can go to print on the right hand side, and it will give us this option. So we'll just click print. Of course, we first need to save this article on our computer and then print it from our computer. So I will save it on my computer. So I will call it I am training for educational leaders. And I will save it here. Well, it's there. If I just go to the folder, I can print it from there. So let's get back to how I have done this and how this ADA link shows there. So I will go back to Google Scholar. So ADA link here, and there's another ADA link here. If you go further, you will see more ADA links. And it means that these articles, again, are available through ADA Library. So you can also do this. You can just go to the settings here, choose settings, and it gives you a couple of options. And from here, use library links. You can see here ADA Library has been added. You can also add that. I can also add another library. Let's take Harvard Library, for example. So it is Harvard Public Library. If I just click this, those links will also be shown on the right-hand side. But you need to be careful here, because you will not be able to access those resources because you don't have access to Harvard Public Library. But you do have access to ADA Universal Library, and therefore what's available through ADA Universal Library will be accessed through this link. So now that I don't have access to Harvard Public Library, I will not check that. So that's it, Google Scholar. an immense database, a wonderful search engine. Our next example is more local. That is ADA library. In this video tutorial, we will explore ADA off-campus resources. If you just go to ADA library link here, you will be taken to the homepage of ADA library, where all the information about the library is stored. Now that the topic of this video tutorial is databases and search engines, I will directly go to those here in the middle. ADA library offers these databases to its students. These different databases focus on different disciplines in academia. If you come near the database, you can read what particular focus a database has. JSTOR, EBSCO, ProQuest, library, etc. You can go to these databases individually and search. Or you can go to a search engine that includes all of this. ADA calls this summer. It comes from the word summarize. This search engine summarizes all the other search engines on this list. It also summarizes the ADA library catalog, the hard copy works in the library. My favorite here is the summer, because it gives me resources from all the databases that ADA subscribes to. So here's the summon search engine, very simple. Again, it's got its advanced search if you want specific areas. We will use this for more advanced research and writing in the future. For now, we'll do it simple. So we'll enter our search term here to get some resources from this database. So let's take one of our search terms, training educational leaders. Here it is. Lots of works to read, evaluate, and use in your paper. Here too, you can see the filters on the left-hand side. Those are very useful if you're dealing with a large amount of data, resources. You can choose full text online. It means that you don't need to go to the library. You can read it from your home office, virtually anywhere you like. You can choose scholarly and peer review. This is highly recommended, and you will often need to go to this type of works in your research. You can go to peer review, and finally library catalog. Library catalog means that these works are available in the library. Physical library, I mean. Here it's called content type. Mr. Jansson called this material type. And then in Eric we read publication type. And here it is content type. Well, basically all these three terms mean the same concept. You can choose one of those content types. If you just click more, it will show you more content types to choose from. So if you would like books and ebooks, you can go to this and narrow down your search results, web resources, video recording, etc. I will close this for now, and I will go to another group of filters called discipline. So, training educational leaders, in which discipline would you like to read? History, archaeology, education, political science. You can choose that here. You can also choose the language in which you would like to read. So we can see that for this particular topic, we've got 365,000 works in English, 559 in German. You can find more languages to read in. So if you just click on one of these articles, it will take you to the page that we were taken to from Google Scholar. Here's the article. If you just click on this link, it will take you to the article for your use. Again, you can use these features to download it on your computer, or to print it, or just to read it online. So it says here full PDF text. So if you just click on this, and here's the PDF text for you to read. And of course, if you would like more information about ADA library resources, you can approach any of the library staff on campus, or you can call them, write email, which you can find in this Contact Us page.